Welcome to the first Monday of 2023, and that means it's time for a new episode of the Joust About Careers podcast. I'm your host, Brian Brott, and I'm a career advisor and English teacher at Van Buren High School who has seen too many people spend a lot of money and time working toward careers they don't enjoy and that don't help them achieve the purposes they've identified for their lives. I want to make sure that doesn't happen to anyone else. My guest today is Michelle Fissell, who is a licensed professional counselor with Family Life Counseling and Psychiatric Services. Michelle shares what she does as a counselor, what led her to a counseling career after intending to become a math teacher, what it was like to earn a counseling degree through Grand Canyon University's online program, and much more. I hope that what Michelle shares today will help all of you make better career decisions and have fulfilling career journeys. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Joust About Careers podcast. Today we have 2009 Van Buren graduate Michelle Fissell with us. You might know her better as Michelle Long, but she is with us today, and she is currently working as a counselor. And we're going to talk to her about that career. I know there's a lot of people out there that would love to help others, and this would be a great career to do that. So she's going to share her story so that hopefully you can learn from it. And her daughter, Eliana, is going to be joining us today. So it'll be great to hear from her how she balances being a counselor, being a mother, being a wife, being everything that she probably has to be on a daily basis. So, Michelle, thank you very much for joining us to share about your career. And I guess I'd like you to just start out by talking a little bit about what does it mean to be a licensed professional counselor?
Okay, so to be a licensed professional counselor, you have to go through your master's program and be a master's graduate with a counseling degree. Then you have to go through various steps of accreditation, and you have to pass a board exam, and you have to have so many hours of, they call it a practicum, but it's just like an internship with a company. But yeah, you have to get licensed through the state and get approved through the state of Ohio. And once you complete all your check marks, then you can start practicing.
So what does a typical day look like for you? Are you in an office? Are you doing things over Zoom? Is it a mix of both?
Yep.
What does that look like? How long are the sessions? How many do you typically have in a day? So forth.
Okay, so it is a mixture for me. I am very blessed with my company. They've been pretty flexible. So since I've had the baby, I work in the office 1 day a week, and I start seeing clients at 9 and I see clients until 6 p.m. So that's really more of a typical day than working from home. But when I work at home, I am a lot more flexible. I see clients if they need me. I have a couple that are set either telehealth or Zoom, so I'll talk to people on the phone. And then I do a lot of office work from home as well. So it's called performance improvement. So I kind of audit charts and call clients and make sure people are being seen when they say they're being seen and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of not typical, but typical. I do a lot of kind of emergency visits too. If people need me, I'll just say, call me or text me and we can set up a session and talk. Sessions are usually an hour long. It kind of depends. Sometimes I'll run over and sometimes they're short. A lot of it depends on people's insurance as well. So sometimes sessions can only be 45 minutes for the insurance purposes, but I'll still talk to people for an hour just because that's what our company does. So,
right.
But yeah, kind of a not so typical day. A lot of my clients are very flexible because they know I have this crazy little child with me. So they're pretty flexible. And if they hear her banging on the computer or yelling in the background, they're all pretty cool with it. people like it because she's a distraction. So
Right.
people are dealing with some pretty heavy stuff. So they hear her yelling in the background and they start laughing. And I said, you can pay her cash.
So you talk about, obviously people coming to you with a lot of heavy things, and that has to be heavy on you at times. I'm assuming your education, they talk about how to deal with that. And I guess for those of us who obviously aren't counselors or aren't dealing with that on a daily basis, is there anything that you're able to share that helps you as a counselor deal with some of the heavy things that you're helping your clients deal with?
Mhm. So a lot of it we learn throughout our practicum. We kind of talk about compartmentalizing because it's very hard to shut it off. It's hard to turn off your helping nature. It's hard to turn off, like when somebody talks about being neglected as a child or some pretty heavy stuff. It's hard to turn that off. It's hard to not think about it, especially now that I have a child. It's hard to
Right.
turn that off, but it's very much my supervisor is awesome. If I ever need somebody to talk to, she's very much willing to do that just because she knows how heavy this stuff can be and how hard it can be. So
Right. Okay. That has to be nice to have that.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So when you were in high school, did you see yourself being a counselor? Were there other directions? So I see you went to Ohio Wesleyan, earned a bachelor's degree in religious studies, ran
Yep.
track and field while you were there.
Mhm.
What were you thinking in high school as you were getting ready to head off to college?
So in high school, I wanted to be a math teacher. I 100% was like, I want to be a middle school math teacher. I was on the track to to be a teacher. Um, I went up to unvariables, unlimited, unvariable calculus. And I was like, this is not for me. So I just I took a New Testament class and I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I actually talked to that professor and kind of changed my outlook. It changed what I thought I wanted. And I talked to him a lot about the helping professions. And I was like, I love teaching. I love people. And it's hard for me to turn that off. And that's kind of when we talked about kind of social work, counseling. He was a pastor. So he talked to me a little bit about that track and what that would look like as well. But yeah, I went to college to be a math teacher. My main focus, not obviously, but my main focus was track because that's what I wanted to do. I loved running. But yeah, so it kind of all changed when I had my one class, and I've dealt with a lot of loss throughout my life. For those of you that don't know, we lost 2 classmates during our high school career. But yeah, so it was kind of eye-opening when I went to college. I lost a couple of friends throughout my college career as well. So it all kind of changed. And I was like, wow, I could really help somebody else with this because this is a lot. It's hard to lose so many people at a young age. And so that kind of changed my outlook. And I really thought I really wanted to help people with that.
Right. Well, and I think you talk about teaching. There's a lot of different ways that teaching can play a role in a career outside of a school. And I think you're obviously seeing that as well.
Mhm.
So, and I think, how what happens to us in our lives shapes where we go. And we definitely see that with you. So when you graduated, it looks like you went to Dick's Sporting Goods and worked there for a couple of years. Now,
Mhm.
was that more of a not sure where you wanted to go or where you could go,
Mhm.
and you use that time for that? Or can you talk about that time and how you eventually ended up going to Grand Canyon University?
Yeah. So I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I was actually on the track to be a manager there. Was just trying to figure out life. I wasn't totally sure which program I wanted to get into. There was a little bit of a financial barrier as well, because since I was working full time, I didn't get any financial assistance or anything like that. So it was a financial barrier. And then I found this program, and I was actually a couple years out of college with my bachelor's for a little while, and I reached out to Grand Canyon, and I was looking for an accredited program because there's a lot of programs out there, but they're not accredited. So I had to look for an actually accredited program, and finding that. And when I found Grand Canyon, I got in touch with Nate, and he was my like introductory person. And then got in touch with my student advisor, Loriana, and they just kind of guided me through the whole process. It was pretty smooth after I actually found a program that I was really interested in.
So it looks like you were working for Ohio Health Group
Mhm.
while you were going to school. Was the
Yep.
Ohio Health Group job I guess, did that have anything to do with the counseling, or just the fact that those were both kind of in patient care? It
Yep.
just was a random situation.
Yep, pretty much. I had a friend that worked for Ohio Health, and she was like, there's an opening if you want to come. I know she knew I wanted to get out of retail, and she kind of let me know that there was an opening coming open, and I applied, and that was that. It was actually with a physical therapy first, and then after that, she'll just wander.
She's picking up the
Um,
house. That's a good thing.
yes. Yep. Oh, she's got my cell phone. Anyways, so yeah, I started out with physical therapy, and then moved over to an orthopedic group, orthopedic surgeons. And when I was with the orthopedic surgeons, I had started my practicum. So I was working full time. I was seeing clients after working full time. So I was working 60 plus hours a week and doing schoolwork. So it was a lot for a little while, but I just kept telling myself this is temporary and we'll get through it. And we did. When I graduated, actually the month before I graduated, I found out I was pregnant. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah. You had a lot going on. Now, I think sometimes students are maybe a little concerned about doing online schooling.
Mhm.
Obviously, high school students did some of that during COVID. Didn't
Mhm.
always result in the greatest situation.
Right.
How was that for you? You know, obviously
Mhm.
attending a school in Arizona, but
Right.
being in Ohio. Tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about that experience,
Ooh.
and what were some of the good things? What were some of the struggles with that?
Mhm. So I will say online schooling is not for everyone. Um, it took a lot of drive. I am going to tell you those little agenda planners that we used to get in high school. I actually bought them because I needed to stay on track and I still use them for counseling today. So really just staying organized and motivated was the most important thing, because I think just having that drive and knowing that I needed to succeed. So um, yeah, online schooling is not for everyone, but I guess I just wanted to be the best I could be, because I actually got a 4.0 throughout my master's career, and I am a part of Alpha Chi, which is the National Honor Society basically for college. So that was I was very proud when I was able to do that, because in my bachelor's program, I wasn't really able to do that because I was more focused on running track. But yeah, so it was good. I really just had to buckle down and focus. And I guess one of the hardest things was having a group counseling class online, because we had to meet at a certain time every week. my classmates are in Arizona and Texas and all over the world. So it was just hard to find a time for everybody. And
Right.
usually it was when at like 11 p.m. So I'm staying up late, but it was cool. It was a very interesting process, but yeah, it just took a lot of organization and staying on track.
Right. Right. And like you said earlier, that short-term pain, uh, you could handle that when you knew that there was good on the horizon. So
Mhm.
that
Definitely.
that is really cool to hear. So if there's someone out there thinking about going into a counseling career of some kind, what advice would you give to that person?
Hmm. I would say don't get down on yourself throughout the process. It's a lot, and it's going to take a lot on you too, just because it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to learn, and it's going to bring up a lot of your own traumas. It's going to bring up a lot of your own issues, which you'll learn how to work through those in school too. But yeah, it's great. I love it. It's very rewarding. Sometimes we do say it's a thankless career because you don't get a lot of thanks, but then you have those couple of patients that'll send you a message like it was 2 weeks ago. I started seeing a new client, and she actually texted me and said, "You're the first person I've been able to open up to about everything, and I just wanted to say thank you." And I was like, that makes it all worth it 100%.
Absolutely. That is awesome.
Mhm.
So as you think back to yourself in high school, you've obviously learned a lot
Mhm.
in the 13 years since you graduated. And is there anything that you know now about life, about careers that you wish you would known when you were back in high school?
Mhm. I would say there's a lot of options. Just because your first career choice doesn't work out does not mean that the world is over. And I wish I would have known that back then, because I thought when I wasn't going to be a math teacher, everything was over. But just looking at your options and not settling so early, if that's what you think you want, go for it and don't look back.
Life is long. There's a lot of
Mhm.
options. There's a lot more to life than a career as well,
Yes.
obviously with Eliana and everything else. So Michelle, I really appreciate all of this. A lot of really good insights into your career and this just life in general, which obviously we all experience. So thank you very much and good luck as you continue on your career journey.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Joust About Careers podcast. I hope you learned valuable information from this career story, and to be sure you don't miss upcoming episodes, please click subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform so you'll know when the next episode is released. Thank you for watching, and as always, this is the place to go to learn just about careers.